Hey guys, before the video gets started, I'd like to show you guys how you guys get notified on when we upload new content, whether it being beat videos, tutorials, or beat sessions. Just go to the subscribe button, click it, you'll be subscribed, and then click this, send me all notifications for this channel, save. And what that'll do is you'll be notified whenever we upload a new video. Now time to get into the video. Man, this guy's trying to sell me $500 a month to market and use ads. Bro, why am I gonna have you do that when I know I could just watch YouTube videos? Bro, I don't need to pay you $500 a month. That's like, that could be like rent for like a facility. I don't got, like, bro, I ain't paying $500. I just got read a text from someone trying to do business with me, but I ain't gonna pay no one $500 a month to do ads. It's a thing I use. Hit play. You're saying you're ready. I'm gonna go ahead and add you. Yeah. Thank you for joining for another week.
Finally, right?
Yeah, talking about another producer enhancement segment. Talking about mostly going into a lot of our business. Last time we talked about how a producer can make more money, as well as using ads to get better, which and you gave a lot of game on like Google ads, which my dumbass has never even done. Well, I did before, but I didn't do it properly. I spent a little bit of time researching, and then I followed what you said, and yeah, dude, like the stats and how cheap it is, bro.
Oh yeah, I know. I told you, like, this is the, like, currently right now, because no one else is doing that. Like, if everybody in the chat, you have, I would recommend at least having 20 to 30 beats up on your YouTube channel first before you do this. Otherwise, you're kind of just burning money, because no one really wants to be like, well, because in a rapper's mind, it's like, oh, you have one beat up, so like you haven't been doing this very long. You know what I mean? So it's like you're professional. So like you should grow organically for those first 20 to 30 posts, and then start promoting outside of that, you know, to then build your audience, because then you have variety for people to be like, oh, hey, there's more beats here, instead of just seeing the one that's like, oh, this is good, but this is what I'm looking for right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Like, you gotta have some form of content in library for these people to check out, and like you want to have, like, get some momentum, get an idea, like, before you start tossing money blindly at this, because you could toss like your whole entire like life savings into ads.
You could toss your entire budget at it and not do anything, because you don't know what you're doing, you know. So it's having a ton of money is not the answer.
Yeah, you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta figure out that end goal, which is very important. A lot of people don't know their end goal. You gotta figure out your end goal. You gotta be very meticulous with how you're gonna do it, and when you do it, make sure you got backup content. When you said make sure you have music already on, you kind of brought up a new idea. Or at least make sure you have 20 beats. Why don't you make sure you have a playlist? And so on the Google ads, you could set ads. Now, I know our topic isn't ads so much, but real quick, but like when you set up your ad, when you click it and it links you over to your beat video, why don't you create well, I created a playlist. I've had the playlist. It's called Beats and Instrumentals playlist. And yeah, you just copy, you could get the specific video in the playlist URL, and then use that. So when someone clicks that video and it pulls up your video, well, instead of it just pulling up that one video from you, it's going to pull up that video inside that whole entire Beats and Instrumentals playlist. So now, like, oh, so here's the whole catalog. Now,
I like that.
Yeah,
I like this idea. On the other side of that game, because then if you already know which beats everybody likes the most, or which beats are your top sellers, all you have to do is make a playlist with your top sellers in that order.
Oh yeah, and also it'll have like it could have even a drip effect down into like all your other beat videos getting more views. and then you get even more money from AdSense. Boom. I mean, that's like, and I need to definitely narrow down my thing, because, and honestly, dude, bro, people will be dead ass sleeping on these ads, because I was getting a much better retention too on all these videos. I'm like, whoa, wait, I'm getting retention? Like,
who would be more likely to watch in the first place, instead of just random people scrolling through being like, oh, hey, here's a beat tutorial. Oh, hey, here's a Drake type beat. You know what I mean? You're actually finding people who are looking for these things.
Exactly. Like, I was really like, I don't know, man. I was definitely impressed. But I guess it'll be a good time to like revert out of ads, and get back into like.
We'll go back into ads some more, because there's some other things I want to test before I just start giving out a bunch of other information. I'll break this down real quick, and then we'll go into the branding thing. The whole Facebook ads thing, targeting really specific. You're still it's still a luck of the draw type thing. An audience of 100,000 to 500,000 people, and potentially they like hip hop music, they like East Coast beats, like whatever your genre is, right? Like you target all that, you target your age range, like the people who are watching your YouTube videos and all that. Like you target the information that you already have.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a luck of the draw of like, well, how many of these people are actually rappers or need beats, you know? Which is why the old school way is like, oh, hey, give away 3 free beats to get them on your email list, and then you send them a bunch of valuable content, and then eventually they'll buy beats from you, right?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is number one is everybody's doing that now, so there's got to be a shift, because that's not a way that you can still get some success doing that. You can still grow an email list, but like everybody's just joining for free beats.
Exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Let's get into the branding thing, which is, you know, I don't know, what else did you cover while I was trying to get everything set up, because I was in and out.
Not a whole lot. We kind of talked about the definition of a brand. So the definition being the promotion of a particular product or company by means of advertising and distinctive design. So pretty much just meaning creating your image that is very distinct to you, and how you're wanting to represent your music, product, or whatever it is. And I actually began to pull up other producers where we could look at their marketing or design. Where I pulled up Metro Boomin's Instagram page, and he deleted all of his posts.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's a very I mean, he has a profile picture but no posts, 3.1 million followers, and only following 4 people. And then Young Metro three times Drip season 3. So I guess he's promoting Young Gunner's project. So I guess he's under the transition of rebranding some of his imagery. So let's pull up a London on the Track this page, just so that we look at some of like their aesthetics and designs. I figured it'd be best, this would probably be the most objective way of conveying some of this.
I feel like you should also pull up like an internet producer as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because a lot of people already know about these are like celebrity producers, like celebrity industry producers. London on the Track, Metro Boomin. Realistically, if you're a producer, if we want to be realistic, you won't be here. For the average person watching this, you probably won't get the celebrity producer, which is fine. That does not mean you won't make money. That does not mean you
won't make a living at all.
Yeah, I mean, it just means you probably won't be in the limelight of like how much, like 2 million people like following you, like, because London on Track is at 1.9 and Metro is at like 3 or 4 million followers, and this is just on Instagram. So that's huge followings for just a damn producer. I mean, like these guys have more followers than like a lot of rappers.
Maybe collectively, like you're talking like 5 to 6 million people.
Yeah, I mean, like really, like these producers, like have a lot of eyes on them, and realistically, most producers don't have this amount of eyes. It's just, and like the aesthetics is very professional. So like these guys' Instagrams often have them in the studio, them with some of the artists they work with. They're very consistent. No, very rarely, like I'm looking at London on the Tracks, there's no like cheap Instagram selfies. Like I could pull up other people's like Instagram, and like they got those like cheap selfies, like just low lighting, like, and nothing's wrong with that, but it's part of marketing and branding. Like these guys with high quality images, them in multi-million dollar studios, them performing in front of thousands of people, in front of luxury cars with celebrities, they're not gonna post a bullshit cheap selfie. Even like Kim Kardashian, she'll take selfies, but like those selfies are getting like manipulated like 50 times before they see the light of day. So
producers kind of starting to transition into that stage where it's like we're more than just making beats, like we're actually becoming artists ourselves in a way.
Yeah, like producers are getting like a spotlight on them that's similar to one of an artist, pretty much, which is interesting. I'm all for it, because producers are creating like a majority of the music now. Without the producer, you wouldn't have anything near to what you.
Yep, you again, like we said before last time, it's like you would just have an acapella.
Yeah, literally, and so I mean, like inside Instagram, I'm looking over at Nick Mira's. He has, you know, his single with XXXTentacion for the song "Fuck Love," which is certified platinum as of March 7th, 2018. So he sold 1 million units for "Fuck Love," which is pretty solid. And Nick Mira, it's the same thing. He has a certain photography style, a lot of filters. I mean, he goes with a certain aesthetic, almost all studio photos or album art, something like anything that's even remotely close to music. Lil Skies, it looks like he's produced only one track on the Lil Skies project. Yeah, Strictly Business he produced. But yeah, I mean, it looks like a lot of it is just self promo.
Is his logo anywhere?
No, Nick Mira's logo is not anywhere on the website. It's mostly just photos of him. Not even that many photos of him. He doesn't seem that active. He has 17,000 followers. This is a little bit more realistic for you guys when you guys start getting some clout. 17,000, 15,000. That is probably a lot of the limelight that you guys will see, which is still a lot of people. So what would be another producer we should look at? Or an Instagram?
Can you find Taz Taylor?
Yeah, someone actually even said Taz. Oh.
Because I kind of not copied, but I kind of took influence from some of his page whenever I first started, because I was like, okay, how do I want to like make sure that I look at least somewhat professional, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the Taz Taylor's page is looking very similar to Nick Mira's page, a very similar aesthetic. Honestly, I really don't even see much of a difference. I mean, his bio, the Taz Taylor platinum producer, Internet Money Records, produced for XXXTentacion. As I said, you gotta stroke your own cock. XXXTentacion, 6ix9ine, TK, 21 Savage, Trippie Redd, Lil Skies, Kodak Black, Gucci Mane, and more. So he has quite.
Which songs are these though? Because I want to know what the songs are.
So he did a song with No Jumper. It was a special promo with TK and Black Boy. He produced that. That was the song with TK. Gucci Mane, he produced Mr. Davis, which went gold. He produced. He helped with the XXX and Tentacion, Fuck Love.
Right. I know that one.
Um,
Right now that I'm really thinking about doing a collab with. His name is Cody. He spells his name with an X.
like Cody X or like
Yeah, it's CXDY.
CX. Okay. CXDY. Let's see if we can find him on Instagram. CX.
Really cool sound. Like he's got an actual like legitimate like this is my sound, right? Like this is his thing. He starts charts a couple of times. He's in the free beats charts all the time. Mainly because he gives away his whole thing is free. He does the whole free beat tag on YouTube, so that's why he's like ranked that well. It's cool, you know. No shame on that at all, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to do the free beat tag to rank my beats.
Yeah.
Opens you up to a whole world of problems. Like he was in a fight with an artist because it's like, well, the beat says free. You can't put free there if the beat's not free.
Well,
this is the mindset of the rappers that are looking for beats because it's like, well, you said free.
Yeah, it should say free in the title, but then it should like go into more detail in the description.
Because if you say just free, because I forgot the video. There's a video somewhere on like how to be a SoundCloud rapper, right? And it's like it goes the guy, and it was like a small little, right? And it was just a joke, but it brought up an interesting point of like how you need to download Audacity, you got to get a cheap mic, and this, that, and the other, blah blah blah. You got to go find a beat. So he's like, make sure you type in whoever artist you like, type beat free, right? And he's like, it says free, so they wouldn't say free if it wasn't free, so it has to be free. Like, and this is the mentality of these people, you know?
Yeah, I get the logic. I understand like why to avoid it and like the problem with it. I would advise it. I mean, it's such a
a couple here and there is not going to kill you. Like doing it for your subscribers and doing it for, you know, and actually giving them a free like untagged beat, right? Like a free, you can go download the beat untagged at my website.
Yeah, right? Something like that might be good.
You kind of put out more. You need to have way more for sale beats. Free beats, because if your whole page just says free, you're opening yourself to a world of hurt. Because one of the other examples I've heard too is like there was a rapper that they got free beats, right? And it's like, well, there was a whole lawsuit or like whatever about it, or they got music law involved, and it's like, you know, it's like they couldn't do anything because it's like, well, you said your beats are free.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Open myself up to that.
That's what it comes down to. Which, I mean, that we could tie that into branding as a producer, which is developing your sound. What the hell is your sound? Like trying to like figure out like how are you, like what type of sounds, what type of VSTs are you using? I've actually came to the realization, at least for myself, I can't speak for my co-producer Tony so much because Tony has his own unique little vibe and style. But for myself, a lot of the music I create is actually like I grew up on video games, so a lot of the stuff I grew up
using a lot of synthesizers and digital sounding stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, so like I mean, well, like if I feel like if a lot of people go and just listen to like my beats, they could kind of understand, like, and if they knew what beats I made and then what beats I collabed with Tony on, they could see the elements. And I never really realized it till recently, because even some of the effects I use, it's like some effects I use from like Zelda and stuff like that I implement in Minecraft. Just different things. Now, I didn't play a whole bunch of Minecraft, but like I played a whole bunch of Zelda. I played a whole bunch of like, I watched a whole bunch of Naruto anime when I was young. I watched a little bit of Bleach. I watched
I loved all those animes, man.
Oh yeah,
but I loved it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, and I watched Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, like back when I was youngin', but then like I watched like a whole. Oh yeah, like so. I mean, like a lot of that stuff, and then video games I played. Like I played a little bit of Mario. I played Halo. I played like Call of Duty. I played like Battlefield. I could go on forever. I play so many different video games that, especially when I was a youngin', that I feel like a lot of my elements of my even my melodies, they're kind of like video game-esque melodies. When I was even young, this is a funny one. When I was young as well, I mean, most people could probably relate to this stuff because this is kind of like our generation's type of games. But like, I even played like RuneScape, like so like yeah, like I mean, I know some people play World of Warcraft, RuneScape, or whatever. Pick your poison, but I played a lot of RuneScape, so I feel like some elements I might do like some weird melodies, or I might do some like medieval type stuff in some of my stuff. And it's not like so much of like, oh, I'm gonna make a RuneScape type beat. No, it's just like
you're influenced by the melodies.
Yeah, I was so used to hearing those sounds and melodies and structures. I was probably listening to that stuff more than I was listening to music back then. Not to say I was not listening to music, but I was just listening to that stuff. So maybe like really tapping into like what is you, and then like starting to execute and implementing that stuff, because only you know you best. I mean, maybe you could shed some light on some stuff that you
I mean, for me, I don't know, if you have rappers around you too, definitely ask your rappers, because for me, like, I'm looking at all my music and I'm like, man, I don't have a sound. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you can tell that I made the song because of like some mixing decisions and like a few other things. You know what I mean? But for the most part, it's like I don't have an identifiable, characteristic or thing that I always do, right? And so I asked some of my rappers, I'm like, hey, well, what would you say about my sound? If two of them are like, I don't know, man, right? But I had one, he's like, I can listen to your drums. It's not like specifically like it's a combination of the drums you use and the drum patterns that you use, and I can immediately tell that you made that beat. It doesn't have to necessarily be technically a actual like sound, like an actual like I made this sound in Massive and this is my style of making a sound. You know, it could be the way that you format your beats. It could be the way that the type of sounds that you choose to use. It could be the way that you write your melodies. Because another thing too is like I would say that say anything is like my melodies are like dance music inspired, right? Because that's what I did for so long, you know. And so like I learned how to write dance music melodies and why and how they were catchy. I kind of like implemented a lot of that in hip hop beats. And when I first started, I forgot where it was. I forget where it was. I think it was on the live stream that somebody else was doing. They were doing like a beat review. And I had a bunch of people, yo, how are you doing your melodies? And like, your melodies sound so different. And I'm like, well, it's because I didn't listen to hip hop music. You know, I just started making my own music and doing what I wanted to do. And I knew that melodies had to be catchy, you know? So I was like, okay. So I just made catchy dance melodies with hip hop instruments. And that was kind of, you know, how that came to be. I've kind of toned that back a little bit. I'm about to jump back into my roots and like go that direction again and see what happens, you know? Developing a sound, it's just like, whatever, consciously or unconsciously, try to step back and kind of look at what you're doing and be like, oh, I've noticed that these big hall drum kicks, you know what I mean, like the ones with the reverby stuff on them, you know what I mean, like the deep punchy or like the super tight punchy ones, you know. If you're using a lot of those, a lot of like long tail snares and stuff like that, I mean, that's your choice. You're making that decision.
Yeah.
So it's like that's part of your sound in and of itself. The same way that I usually use like super tight kicks and like super short and tight snares and claps. You know, for the most part, not every beat, of course, but I mean, for the most part, like that's what I gravitate towards.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you make your beats, like what do you gravitate towards, and what like sounds were like describe you, like pretty much.
I mean, for the most part, I mean, it changes all the time though for me. That's the thing, because like I'm like, okay, I already used this instrument. I want to use something different. Just kind of like, I don't ever try to do the same thing twice. You know, and I don't ever try to like like, oh, before I go back to, like, here's a prime example, right? Is like I have a bunch of massive libraries. I'll do one beat out of one library, right? So like one of my favorite libraries, the Echo Soundworks OVO Volume 3, I think, something like that, either a Volume 2 or Volume 3, whichever the last one was. And I'll go in there and I'm like, it's weird too, because like I won't make an artist beat that's like an OVO artist, you know. I won't make a Drake beat, or I won't make a End or Bryson Tiller. Like I won't make like the ambient R&B stuff, right? Like I'll actually wind up making like an aggressive like Future, like 21 Savage style song, because like those sounds I'm trying to do with it, you know what I mean? And at the same time, it's like once I do that, I'm like, okay, what's another library and what's another VST that I have that I can go do something completely different in? You know, so that way my catalog is always evolving and changing, and like no one's gonna sit there and be like, oh, I can clearly tell that you only have one VST and like a bunch of the same drum sounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's not really any variety in that. You're not really I mean, you'd have a distinct sound because they all sound the same roughly, you know. But it's like I don't want them to all have the same aesthetic and the same sound to them, you know.
Exactly. Like, I mean,
building your sound is, I mean, it is difficult because it's like you need consistency, but it's like, what do you leave to be consistent? That's kind of up to you to figure out.
But yeah, I think so. Like, yeah, coming up with your own sound and aesthetics. I mean, trying to tie this back into brand. We keep. I mean, well, it's not.
We'll talk about too is like just having your brand kind of on your YouTube channel, right? Like, so not like necessarily just and stuff like that. Like maybe a slogan or like something that you stand for can also be part of your brand. Like one of the things that because I need to redo all my banners and get everything done again, because like I'm gonna try to launch my YouTube channel and my my Instagram page to be consistent on both, right? So one of the things I want to be part of my brand is, you know, I'm doing it for rappers as well on my Beat channel, right? So like I think we already talked about like making videos for rappers that'll draw them into your beats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so that way it's like free advertising roughly. But now like I also want people to know that I'm also different, right? So like my slogan that I want to have on my banner would be like stand out, be heard. Stand for something. I stand for being different. I stand for, you know, going against the grain and doing something different, right? But as well, I've got my logo, right, which is like my H for hit play, and then I've also got like my color, which is like a with like an olive green. I know from just doing a little bit of color psychology that green represents growth and maturity. I want people around me to strive to continue to grow and continue to mature and to continue to go forward, you know?
Yeah, and that'll pull into your aesthetics.
I did a lot more like searching and like developing and like thinking about just before I just started like, oh, I'm just gonna throw some beats up on YouTube with like, you know, a purple background on the cover, on the thumbnail, and like a $5 logo I got on Fiverr on my, you know, on all my images and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like you're running a business, so like you need to at least look professional.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of those things is like having something that is consistent throughout all your graphics and throughout all your images and stuff like that, you know? So like your thumbnails should kind of reflect your brand, right? Because if you're over here, this is what I see a lot, and people are like, why am I not getting views and why am I not doing this? It's like, how many beats have you seen that people have literally just gone to Google, ripped off a picture of Future, put like a vignette filter on it, like the name of the beat in like a font, and then that's the thumbnail and that's the video.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of people,
People wonder why they don't stand out and why they're just like why they're not getting sales. It's like if I'm over here and I have a completely different looking thumbnail, right? We'll just say that like if I have like full background and then I have the artist on that, and then I have my logo, and then I have like future type beat on that, versus just the image of like the same thing that an artist has seen like 90 times looking through beats, right? Which one are you gonna click on,
I mean, yeah, you're gonna want to click on the one that stands out.
right? And so like you need to
Build a brand and not a what?
out a channel,
Not a channel.
build like just doing like don't just make a channel, right? Like build a brand that's like far beyond that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, posting stuff. But if you have a brand, it's like it represents more than that.
Mm-hmm.